Alrighty, welcome to episode 2 of Within the Lines, Friday, January 25th. Today we have our first interview, first big guest for you. We have Ross Stripling, Los Angeles Dodgers starter / reliever / whatever they want him to do. Tyler, how do you think that interview went?
It was fun. It was real good. We had an all-star on. Guy played in the World Series. Talked to him a little bit. Talked to him about stuff, not baseball, but it was a good time.
Yeah, definitely. It's always a good interview when they start laughing in the interview.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
My heart was definitely pounding.
We did have some difficulties with the phones. There might be some cuts and stuff if you guys hear it. It's a trial run.
No, there won't be any. Every cut is a good cut. So,
right.
Yeah, let's get into the episode.
High fly ball into right field. She is gone.
I don't feel so good.
Hulk! Smash! Hey, look up. You can put it on the board. Yes!
Alrighty, welcome to the first episode of Within the Lines, post Tyler's depressing Sunday football loss. Tyler, as you may or may not know, is a New Orleans Saints fan. He came into the NFC Championship with only a 6 out of 10 on the worry scale, and his team was thoroughly beaten, no controversy at all. Not like the Minneapolis Miracle where it was a last-second touchdown, a thorough beating with no questions left on the table. Tyler, how do you feel?
Did you see Cody Allen signing?
I did.
Yeah.
Right after we recorded the last episode.
Yeah, that was cool. Looking forward to baseball season.
Yeah, so how about them Saints, man? What's
Jesus
going on?
fucking Christ, that pissed me off, Jason. I was watching that game. You can ask our friend Brandon or my girlfriend. I was fucking throwing my hat at the door. I texted you like halfway into the fucking third quarter, like, we're going to fucking lose this.
And I said they weren't. I had money on the Rams, by the way.
Yeah. And you got gifted fucking money.
Well, I didn't win because the Chiefs blew
That's
the
right.
parlay, but we'll get to that later. So, yeah, no controversy. Did you see anything that you think might warrant some controversy, Ty?
At least if I would have saw something, I would have called it.
Oh. So, obviously, the biggest moment of the game was the non-call pass interference. Saints would have got granted a first down, or the receiver would have caught it and got a touchdown if, he didn't hit him. And would have been able to chew the clock, presumably make the field goal. We can't assume that, but 99% would have made the field goal and would have won, would have advanced to the Super Bowl. Instead, got away with the call, kick a field goal, give Jared Goff and the Rams about 1:45, drive down the field, tie the game, go into OT. Drew Brees throws an interception, and Greg Zuerlein, 58, 59-yard field goal to seal the deal.
Yep.
So what about that blown call, Ty? I know you have some choice words for my article I wrote about it.
So you wrote an article saying basically that the Rams deserved to win.
Yes.
No. In the simplest terms, no.
I don't know, man.
Why do you feel the Rams should have won, Jason? Let's start with that.
It's not that I think the Rams should have won. I just don't like the idea that this win is tainted in any way. Because, yes, there was a blown call, and yes, Saints fans have every reason to, but the Saints were winning that game 13-0, and they blew that lead. Mm-hmm. And if you look at the stats, Jared Goff kind of outplayed Drew Brees.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, if you really want to get technical with missed calls, there was that face mask call on Jared Goff that was not called. The previous drive would have been 1st and goal. If we're presuming the Saints are going to kick that field goal, I think it's safe to say the Rams would score on 1st and goal at the half-yard line, the 1-yard line. And then that pass interference call never happens because the Saints have a different mindset. They're not trying to chew the clock. They're trying to score because they're down by 4, So I think missed calls happen all the time. And I just think since this one was so blatant that it's viewed as like the worst call ever when really, you look at the Chargers, and it's a bigger moment. It's definitely understand that. But there was a missed call the drive before that would have changed the game too. That wasn't called. And maybe if the Saints won that game, maybe that's the call we're all looking at. So
that call wasn't as blatant though, because you've seen a bunch of stuff on Twitter where it's oh well, what about these calls? There was multiple calls throughout the game where they didn't call it for the Saints. Drew Brees had one to the face, hands to the face. There was
are you talking about the sack, the interception sack?
Hands? No, there's one before that. There's a helmet to helmet that took our tight end out of the game. They didn't call, so you can't just choose one and say this that. The one you can is the one that literally is having NFL analysts and everyone saying is the worst call in the history of the NFL.
The call itself was terrible, but
the one that should have been called 100% and would have won the Saints the game.
But the face mask would have also won the Rams the game.
Exactly, but it was not
A blown
as blatant.
call is a blown call.
No, it's not, though. That's the thing. There's
In
blown
that
calls
situation,
where,
it is.
there's calls where there's, let them play. And then there's calls where that's not letting them play. That's keeping them from winning a game.
That face mask was obvious. Even the announcers of the game, was it Joe Buck? Fox? Even they brought up the face mask. It wasn't like frame by frame there was a face mask. It was a call that, in the moment, I was like, what the hell? They didn't call that face mask. Okay,
yeah. It should have been called. But like I said, there was multiple times throughout that game where there was calls that, could have happened and the refs didn't. There was only one that was blatantly obvious. And, yes, they you can say the stats show they outplayed them and everything. You make that obvious call that every single person saw.
I didn't see anything.
Liar. The Saints win that game, and that's all there is.
That blind piano player didn't see it. I can't.
No,
think of
I
his name
guarantee
right
he
now.
saw it. Ray Charles.
No, it's not. I don't think it's Ray
I think
Charles.
Ray Charles is a piano player.
Dude, if it's not Ray Charles, whoever's listening to this is gonna laugh. There, Stevie Wonder.
Stevie Wonder. I think Ray Charles was also a blind piano player.
We need a stats department. We're really
I think there's been
lacking
2
on
blind
funding.
piano players.
I don't know. Either way, you guys lost in terrible fashion.
Lost, and there's this bullshit like, a rematch. So there's no point doing that because then it's a tainted win if the Saints do come away with it. With all that bullshit, it happened. You got to move past it. But in the moment, absolute bullshit. And I'm sorry, it is a tainted win.
Yeah.
Because even the cornerback Robbie Coleman was his name.
No, yeah, he admitted that he got beat on the ball.
Yeah, he said I thought it was a touchdown, so I hit him early. Now, okay, and it should have been called. Going back to, another heartbreaking loss for the Saints, the Minnesota Miracle. Mm-hmm. The reason that happened is because our player got there too early and said, oh shit, I'm going to get pass interference, ducked down to try and avoid Diggs, and then Diggs caught the ball and scored.
Dude, it just came full circle. Next year, you guys just need to commit pass interference because
no, and then we're gonna get called
the year
for it.
before
some bullshit.
You didn't commit pass interference and it cost you a touchdown. And the next year, you got the pass interference called on you and it didn't lead to a touchdown. And yeah, I mean, what would you
do? They need to do Bounty Gate 2.0 next year and just go out for some motherfuckers.
Well, I mean, they should have called it and it should have been a first down. But what if he doesn't do that and the guy catches it and it's a touchdown? The game's not over at that point. It very well could have been the same result.
Could have, but they only had one timeout at that time. It would have been within 2 minutes, and they would have had to drive down and get a touchdown.
Yeah,
so it's way less likely.
But
I know there's been issues like the calling as far as Sean Payton could have ran out the clock and everything.
Oh, yeah, that first down throw was just absolutely mind-boggling. I don't know what he was thinking.
It was a bad idea, but, they were sending like 8 guys to the fucking quarterback that play. So I can kind of see you have Drew Brees throwing to the number one, catch percentage wide receiver in the league at Mike Thomas on a high percentage route. Yeah. I'm saying I can kind of see where 9 times out of 10, 90 times, 99 times out of 100, Mike Thomas makes that catch. It was a bad throw and shit happens, but I kind of see it. Would have liked to see him run it there more.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, at that point, I don't remember how much time was left, but if you guys get a first down based on the timeouts, you guys could have still kicked a field goal, gotten that first down, but still had to be held to a field goal, and the Rams could have time. I don't know. And then at that point, if you guys get down to the 3, they might have just let you score on the first play. Yeah, they would have been down by 7, but then they would have had more time. That's why in that instance, I don't understand why he called pass there.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think it's as bad of a call as everyone's saying it is. Going Drew Brees and Mike Thomas on a slant route. Come on now.
Yeah,
but with the time management and everything, I would have liked to see him run it. But it is what it is.
And then on the other side, we have the Patriots defeating the Chiefs. If you listened last week, we'll that I had the 4-team parlay, and it came so close to winning, and then D Ford was offsides, and the interception didn't happen, and I didn't win my $782. So I don't really want to talk about that game. We both had a very, very bad loss that day. We have to see the Patriots in the Super Bowl yet again.
Yay.
I mean, the Rams are fun. I mean, there's a cool dynamic. Everyone's going to be talking about the storylines. The Rams kind of kickstarted the Patriots dynasty. Are they going to serve as the bookend for the Patriots dynasty? Or are the Patriots going to serve as the start of the Rams dynasty?
That too. And then there's the Belichick, McVay. McVay is by far like the most idolized head coach in the league right now as far as people trying. Anyone who's worked with him is getting a head coaching job.
Well, Belichick too. He set that precedent.
Exactly. And then there's Belichick, who's been doing it for years, being the smartest man to coach a team in the NFL. So there's a nice little head coach thing going on there, maybe passing the torch if the Rams win.
Yeah, but if the Rams win, I don't know if Belichick hangs it up. So
yeah,
we'll see, though. That'll be fun. I mean, who are you rooting for in that game? You got the team that beat you guys, and then you got the Patriots, who everyone hates, besides Patriot fans.
Yeah, I couldn't care less. You said you couldn't care less about Patriots Chiefs last week. I could not care less. I hate Brady for making Breeze look bad while he's fucking one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. No one cares. And fuck the Rams. So,
I mean, it's not the Rams. It's the referee's fault. It's not the Rams' fault.
Fuck the Rams.
All right. So, going into our first segment of the week, banking off the conference games, we got the ED Elite Disappointment Players of the Week. I'll start us off. I'm going back to Saints Rams. Todd Gurley had a woeful game. Just didn't do much. We saw the CJ Anderson, storyline continue towards the end of the game. CJ Anderson, the guy they signed in December, was the one that they kept turning to. Let's look up the stats here. Gurley had...
Well, I know he had at least 2 drops, one of which led to the early interception for the Saints.
Yeah, well, I was getting to that. He only had 4 carries that game for 10 yards. He had the touchdown run. 4 carries for 10 yards. That's insane. You have the best running back in football by a long stretch. I mean, not a long stretch, but...
very much the best.
The best running back in football, and he had to have been banged up. He had to have been something. He had that drop in the beginning of the game that led to an interception. Should have led to a Saints touchdown, but the Saints just kicked a field goal.
We're talking about Gurley?
And then had a big drop later in the game on, third down?
I think it was third down, yeah.
Would have turned up field, the way Gurley makes people miss. He could have turned that into a touchdown. They were in scoring position. They definitely could have. It's not inconceivable to think he turns that into a touchdown. And he just didn't play good. And like I said, it's got to be he's hurt, or maybe it's a Markelle Fultz thing. Maybe he's got the yips. He's got the playoff yips all of a sudden.
They kept cutting to the camera angle where he's like working out on like the fan bike thing. Or something.
Yeah.
He's doing stuff on the sidelines. It's like, why is he there, not on the field?
It's so bewildering, though, because last week he dominated 115 yards, 16 carries. Like, caught both of his targets. Granted, they were only for 3 yards, but it's just so strange,
Needless to say, he looked a little soft that game, Jay.
He definitely looked soft that game.
He just couldn't perform.
Who was your ED player of the week, Ty?
Well, mine is, I wouldn't say a player. He wears a jersey, striped one.
Okay.
Motherfucking Terry Brown.
Terry Brown. Can you enlighten us who Terry Brown is,
No one knows
Tyler?
who Terry Brown is.
And that's probably a good thing. Why?
Because he's the motherfucker who didn't call pass interference when it was so fucking obvious.
Yeah, watch your mouth. We curse here, but we're not totally R-rated.
Look, I'm going to be honest with you. This is an R-rated situation for me, okay? I was depressed for a good 3 hours after this game, and it was this man's fault.
Oh, God. What do you think Terry Brown will have a job next year?
I sure as shit hope not.
I mean, they fired NFL referees earlier in the year for blowing calls. They fired him after the Pittsburgh-Los Angeles game for the blown false start call.
I mean, for how fast, because there's the interview with Sean Payton after the game where he said he called the NFL officiating or whatever, and they said they blew the call.
Oh, yeah.
For how fast that happened, something has to happen to this man. It's just...
It's not all his fault, though, because the head ref... Any one of them could have thrown the flag.
Yeah, they could have, but he was right there. He was the one who very much saw everything, had the best angle on it, and should have called it. But
I don't want to beat this storyline to the bush, but I definitely agree that it was a penalty, and they definitely they definitely should have thrown the penalty flag there. But I can kind of sympathize with the moment, because it was bang bang. Hold on. It was bang bang. Referees, they're watching the whole game. It was a penalty. Don't get me wrong. But in that moment where you see the guy hit him right, and if you watch it full speed, the ball was kind of coming down. And it's like the NFL has been so, they've been criticized so much for all the non-penalties that have been called penalties. So these referees kind of already have a guard up. So they see a hit like that. It was a clean hit. I mean, it was pass interference, but it wasn't like helmet to helmet or anything.
No, a bunch of people, he lowered the head with it too.
Yeah, but it wasn't like
That's not what they would
blatantly.
have called it for, though.
No, yeah. And since that, and then since it was bang bang, and just in the moment, maybe no one wanted to be the guy to be that guy. You know what I mean? And now they're all that guy.
I don't know if it was bang bang like you're saying. I do understand, they've been over criticized for it, but come on. Be that guy. It's not only a championship game for the teams, but you're in charge of that game too. That game is now known because of you as like the no call.
Yeah.
So it's a big stage for, them to do their job just as much as the teams on the field. Be that guy.
Yeah, but if they would have called the face mask the drive before, then it would have never happened.
Whatever.
That's the call we should be outraged about.
No, it isn't.
Because with that face mask call, this would have never happened. Maybe you guys would have just won outright. No controversy at all. Alrighty, Ty.
Absolute garbage.
Since you're in such a great mood, we're going to head into trivia time with Tyler. Then we got some Oscars talk. We're going to head into our interview. Then we got a little stuff after the interview. And then that's it for this week. So, trivia time with Tyler. Black Panther was the first superhero movie ever to be nominated for Best Picture in the Oscars, which we'll get to later. As you know, with the Oscars, there's another award ceremony. I don't know if you're familiar. The Razzies.
Okay.
You know what the Razzies are, Ty?
That's the worst picture.
Yeah,
worst
for those who
actress
do not know, it's the mockery of the Oscars. Everything's bad. Worst picture, worst actor, worst actress, this, that, this.
Little side note, did you know Melissa McCarthy got nominated for a Razzie and an Oscar for her 2 different movies?
Yeah, Sandra Bullock did that a few years ago. I think she won both. She won like Best Actress for The Blind Side and Worst Actress for something else, I think.
Yeah, it was Happy Time Murders and then something else she got
I
the
saw that
Oscar
it
for.
was terrible.
That's what she got nominated for the Razzie
Oh, it
for.
was bad.
But go ahead. Let's get some trivia going.
So we're going to do the Razzies. So in the history of the Razzies, there have been 4 superhero movies. Okay, I was going to do comic book movies, but then you had things like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Transformers, Son of the Mask. Those things all have comic roots, and I didn't feel like looking through every single movie to see if there was some sort of comic root. So we're kind of going with like superheroes. One of them's kind of iffy, but like superheroes. I mean, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, they kind of are heroes, but you don't think of them like, you kind of think of them in their own different thing.
Yeah.
So 4 movies, Ty. I don't know. I should give you some hints on these.
I'm going to need something to go off of.
I can give you years. I can give you studios. I can tell you that 2 of them have been in the last 3 years. Well, technically 4 years because we're in 2019. 2 of them have been. And they're both, one is a DC movie, the more recent one, and one is a Marvel movie. And then the 2 older ones, one is in the 90s, that is a DC movie, and then the one in the 80s is a Marvel movie.
Oh.
So we have 2 and 2.
All right. I'm going to go with...
How about this? I will give you, not the lead actor, but I will give you a side actor for each movie as a hint.
Okay.
Maybe not the top 5 billing. Maybe not,
Someone somewhat notable.
You would know their names, but you might not know. Okay. The one that was in... I don't want to give you the year. The most recent one. Lawrence Fishburne was in it. Do you know who Lawrence Fishburne is, Ty?
Yeah, he was in Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah. That was the most recent one?
Yes.
I was going to guess Justice League.
Okay.
But that made a lot of money, and I don't remember if he was in that or not.
Do you remember any other superhero movies he was in?
I don't know if we're counting The Matrix as a superhero movie.
No, we're not counting The Matrix. Recent. 2016.
2016.
I want you to get this. I don't want you to fail like last week.
Can I get what studio?
Warner Brothers.
Because it's DC.
Yeah, DC. Come on, Ty. Worst picture.
I don't know what movie he was in.
The movie greatly... Don't focus on Lawrence Fishburne. Focus on the movie. Greatly disappointed. Huge expectations and just fell flat.
So it would be... The DC movies that are coming to mind. Batman, Superman.
Okay.
And Justice League.
Okay. Justice League obviously came after Batman versus Superman.
So it's got to be Batman, Superman.
Yes. Batman, Superman,
which I thought was a better movie than Justice League, but...
Was nominated. I don't think it won. I should have looked that up. Let me see.
Got to get a research department.
I know we definitely need a research department. It was definitely nominated. I know one of these for sure won the award. Let's see. It did not win the award. Ty, was nominated. The winner for Worst Picture that year was Hillary's America, The Secret History of the Democratic Party. We don't do politics here, so we're just going to pretend like that didn't happen.
Yep.
And then there was one the previous year. It was a Marvel movie.
Previous year Marvel movie.
2015. Let's give you an actor from that movie. This is bad radio. I hate making empty space. Let's see. Miles Teller. Oh, he was a lead role. Oh, well. Miles Teller.
It's a lead role in a superhero movie?
Yeah. I didn't even know he was in this. I didn't even know this guy was in this either.
Oh, Fantastic Four. He was
Yes.
by far the lead actor. He was Mr. Fantastic of the Fantastic Four.
I didn't see that movie because it won the award.
It
for
100%
worst.
deserved. That movie was atrocious.
It also won with another movie. Could you guess? Just off the top of your head.
What?
It won it was like co-winners that year.
Oh.
Just
No,
off the top
I
of your head.
have no fucking
50 Shades of Grey. It co-won with 50 Shades of Grey. The other one, 1997. It was a DC movie.
That one's going to be Batman and Robin with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Very good, Tyler.
Everyone hates them. I love that movie growing up, and my dad never knew why. Now that I watch it when I'm older, I'm like, why the fuck did I watch this?
Very good, Ty. So you've got, I mean, that one you got right away. You got Fantastic Four pretty good. That was good, Ty. Let's see.
There's another one.
The other one is
mid-2000s?
definitely a curveball. 1986.
Oh.
I don't know any of these actors. I don't know any of these actors. I can't like tell you.
That was 12 years before I was born. I'm not going to know them either.
Okay. He played a small cameo in Guardians of the Galaxy, I believe. He was in an end credit scene. He hasn't been in the
Okay.
MCU, but he was like teased at the end credit of the MCU.
What the fuck is his name? Howard the Duck?
Yes, Howard the Duck. Was it the 1986 Razzie?
I actually seen a little bit of that. It's really bad.
It was 1986, but the event was held in 1987. Yeah, it co-won with the movie Under the Cherry Moon, which I've never heard of.
I don't think it's a coincidence. I've never heard of the other movies that
Yeah.
have won.
Howard the Duck. I didn't even know they made a movie about Howard the Duck.
It was really bad. It was like a dude. He looked like he was in like a sports team mascot outfit, walking around and had like a movable mouth. and he
Dude,
a
it was
duck.
1986. What do you expect?
Yeah, it was bad. Apparently, there was like an awkward sex scene where it was like a duck and a condom or something.
Oh,
It was
God.
really weird.
Oh,
It
God.
doesn't surprise me that it got that award there.
Yeah, and all that, inspired by Black Panther being nominated for Best Picture. Any Black Panther fans, you're not going to like what we're going to have to say, but how was Black Panther nominated for Best Picture, Tyler?
I don't know. I thought it was a really good movie, and I think the thing that's carrying it is the cultural impact of it.
Absolutely.
You know,
Huge
it was-
cultural impact.
yeah,
You can't deny that.
It made a huge amount of money, had a giant cultural impact, being a lead black superhero, which I think is great. I think it was great. I think the movie was good.
Yeah.
I don't think it was Best Picture.
It wasn't even the best Marvel movie of the year.
No, I 100% believe Infinity War was a better movie than Black Panther.
Absolutely. And I mean, maybe that's part of the award criteria is the kind of impact it has on the culture. And, if that is kind of the criteria, then fair play. It's not going to win.
No, there's no way.
I heavily doubt, and maybe it was just kind of like, oh, let's nominate it just as like a
Cultural impact, throw it in there, give it first,
give
superhero.
it that luxury. Yeah. But like you said, the movie itself, it was a good superhero. It was great because I love superhero movies. You know what I mean? Any superhero movie is going to be at least good in my book. Actually, no, but Best Picture, I didn't walk out of that movie thinking, wow, I just saw a finalist for Best Picture in 2018. I mean, I walked out of that movie like, wow, it was really good. Killmonger was good. And
I think that was the best thing. I thought Killmonger was good, but the final scene, it had awful CGI with the rhinos. and stuff.
yeah.
It had a very basic superhero storyline.
Oh, we talked about it on the episode 0, fails and then overcomes it. And yeah.
I mean, it fit all the bills and everything. I think it was the cultural impact of it. I do think there was a lot more moments with the villain that we saw, Killmonger, and kind of, people really liked him in this movie.
Yeah.
And he had a great story and he had a great reason for what he was doing, but it was a superhero movie, very basic superhero movie. And if that movie gets it, how does The Dark Knight not get it?
Exactly.
That movie was amazing and it didn't get a Best Picture nod.
Yeah, it was. I mean, people have said that's not just their favorite superhero movie ever. That's their favorite movie ever.
Exactly.
And I know it's a lot of these award-winning movies aren't really movies that audiences really love, but which is what makes it so strange because this is one that the audiences love, but you would think critics, if you look at it from a pure movie standpoint, just from start to finish, not anything outside of it, it's good. I don't want to take that away from it, but
Yeah.
I mean, if it was the superhero Oscars, I would definitely nominate it for best super. I mean, there's only like 3 a year.
Yeah.
But I'd probably rank it in my top 6 of Marvel movies. But like I said, it's not even the best Marvel movie of the year.
Yeah, and I mean, there was holes in the movie. I mean, there's the part where Killmonger shows up and he fights the Black Panther, right? and he's got all your powers are stripped away from you when you're fighting this man.
Yeah.
He throws him off a cliff and he survives because he lands in snow. At that point, he's a regular person.
Yeah.
I know there's Captain America in that. He was a superhuman. That's why he got frozen in the snow. And like that, okay, whatever. There's some other stuff going on there. That was a giant hole in logic.
Yeah. And then we also had, I didn't know this. We didn't talk about this beforehand. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse was nominated for Best Animated Feature Film.
I think that should have been in place of Black Panther for Best Overall Film. I think that was a better movie.
It was a better movie, but I still wouldn't put it in Best Picture.
All I'm saying, as far as between those two, I think it was better than Black Panther.
Yeah.
And if anything, it should have taken the place of it.
It might win. I don't know. Isle of Dogs was really heavily regarded. I tried watching it. I didn't like it. Incredibles, Pixar wins everything. Ralph Breaks the Internet.
I think Spider-Man deserves to beat Disney on this.
And then Mirai. I don't even know what that is. Sorry to any Mirai fans or if I'm pronouncing it wrong. But Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse was definitely good and definitely deserving of the nominee. But Black Panther, I don't know. I can't really wrap my head around that one.
Yeah. I liked the movie. It was good. Not Best Picture good, though.
Alrighty. So, you want to get into the interview, Ty?
Yeah, I thought it was really fun. I hope you guys enjoy it. We had a good time talking to him and just kind of chatting.
Yeah. I mean, we were nervous. He laughed at us. He's probably listening to this now like, why are they nervous? I'm just a normal guy. But, I mean, I've talked to pro athletes before, but first podcast host or guest, you don't know what to expect. But it was good.
Yeah, I had a good time.
He didn't give us the basic media answers. He gave us genuine conversation.
And it wasn't just sports. We talked to him about a couple of different funny little things and whatnot. So,
oh, yeah.
Good time. Hope you guys enjoy it.
Today we have Ross Stripling, pitcher for the Los Angeles Dodgers on today. Ross, thank you for joining us.
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me.
So you told us that you were having dinner at your in-laws. How was dinner?
Yeah, dinner was great.
Awesome.
They're always great hosts, man. Her mom can really cook.
Awesome. So a running joke we have going on here is one of us is like a traditional journalist, me, who you've talked to. I just ruined the running joke. We were going to have you guess who the journalist was and wasn't. My buddy Tyler, he's along for the ride. He's very knowledgeable baseball-wise. So if he asks any dumb questions, don't be scared to call him out on it. All right?
I'm doing the best I can
worries,
here.
Man.
For sure.
Yeah, perfect.
So the first thing I wanted to ask you, a lot of non-Dodger fans might know you for your player weekend nickname, Chicken Strip. I've heard a lot of people ask you where that came from. I wanted to ask you, what are your top 3 favorite chicken strip places?
Yeah, man. Hit me with the hard hitters right off the bat, huh? That's a good question. Believe it or not, I was never a huge chicken tender guy.
Really?
And then kind of with the nickname, I had to start eating them. And my wife's a huge chicken tender lover, so I've definitely ventured out and tried more and more. I think the first one that comes to my head is Chick-fil-A. We eat Chick-fil-A all the time.
Oh, there you go.
That's good
man. Second is probably for your West Coast boys. You may not know this. Whataburger.
Oh,
Whataburger has some pretty good chicken strips.
Never had it, but definitely have heard of it.
Yeah, man, you got to give it a go. It's our version of In-N-Out.
Yeah.
It's really good. But then, man, after that, I would probably say, I guess, Raising Cane's. That was kind of ate some of that in college. There's a bunch of those around College Station, Texas A&M, where I went to school. So those are the 3 that come to mind right off the bat, I guess. I
like it. Raising Cane's is my personal favorite. My co-host Tyler, he thinks Raising Cane's is like the most overrated chicken strip place in the world.
Oh yeah, I think it's the sauce, man. Whatever that sauce is just unbelievable.
Yeah. Not a big fan, but you make more money than I am. You're a pro baseball player. I'd try it more.
yeah, get in there.
Going back to baseball a little bit, the Dodgers this season, they made a big trade, sent some fan favorites away to the Reds. What's your guys' initial reaction to something like that? And is it kind of hard to settle down during the off season with speculation and rumors going around?
Sure. That's a good question. I think, the first thing that I thought of when I saw the trade was just wow, I almost can't believe that they did it just from the names, that you see going away, which are, Matt Kemp and Yasiel Puig, 2 of the basically faces of the franchise.
Yeah, definite fan favorites.
And then, yeah, big time fan favorites. And then on the other end, I lost my roommates, which are Kyle Farmer and Alex Wood, and 2 of my best friends. Their wives are some of my wife's best friends, so I think of just 2 really good buddies that I'm going to lose out of the locker room, between Kyle and Alex. So, was certainly very surprised. Obviously, I think that we've come to trust just everything that Andrew does, and everything has a reason behind it, and understand that that's kind of the business side of the game, and you never know who can get moved, and no one's safe, kind of thing. And then as far as me personally, man, you can't really think about it. I'll get tagged and stuff on Instagram or Twitter, the Pirates for Cervelli and et cetera, but it's just kind of business as usual around here. Your off season is about getting yourself ready to play baseball, and obviously you expect it to be for the Dodgers, but if it's not, you'll show up ready to go for whoever it is. And I'm kind of always under the impression that I don't want to be traded. I love it in LA, but if you do get traded, it means someone wants you. So it means someone's excited to have you on their squad. So you just kind of got to look at it, as a good thing, no matter what, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. Is there any front runners for your new roommates? Do you got anyone circled?
Well, believe it or not, luckily Kyle and Alex were traded to another team, obviously the Reds, that are in Arizona for spring training. So we at least got to stay together for spring training. And then once the season rolls around, I think it looks like it'll be me and my wife going solo. Which is obviously still great. Yeah, that'll be fun.
Well, that's
a good question when she listens to this, or good answer.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, so about the Dodgers, obviously Dodger fans have loved you since day one. You had that no-hitter, in your MLB debut. I still remember watching that game with my dad. My dad's one of those people who argue with the manager no matter what decision they make, and he was just livid that game. I've always wondered, though, what's more nerve-wracking, pitching a no-hitter in the 8th inning of your MLB debut or pitching in the 8th inning of the World Series?
Oh, man, that's a good question. They're just so different. I guess my first answer would be the debut, just because the game started at 7. I'd never done it. You have just all day to think about what's about to happen and what you're going to do, and just the nerves. I mean, I remember in San Francisco, I woke up at like 8 in the morning. I went to breakfast with my family and like all this stuff to try and like calm my nerves. And man, it just doesn't help at all, and that is just, I mean, butterflies in your stomach for hours and hours. I think for the World Series, by that time I'd already had, close to 2 years under my belt. I kind of knew that I could at least get some big leaguers out, before your debut. You're like, gosh, do I even belong here? So it, that feeling of just not knowing whether you're good enough to get guys out in the big leagues, takes a while to kind of get over. Some guys obviously have it and they're just confident in their stuff from day one, but some guys grind and they finally get there and they just don't know. So I think a debut is about as nerve-wracking of anything. But dang, man, pitching in a World Series is a whole different animal and pretty intimidating in itself. But, luckily I've had a chance to do both, and I'm pretty lucky to have both experiences.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Just another thing going back, you had the no-hitter in your debut. Another thing Dodger fans will probably remember you from is when you got to pinch run at first base back in 2017 against the Pirates. We've got some fun situations here for you. We're going to ask you some questions. Let's see, do you think you could beat these people? So the first one, Usain Bolt, but he can only run with one leg. Oh, my
God, come on.
One-legged Usain Bolt.
One-legged Usain.
Oh, man. I mean, he only runs straight typically, so maybe around the bases I might be able to get to like second base by the time he touches home.
I like the strategy. Get inside the bags there.
I'm definitely not going to bet on myself on that one.
All right, the second one, we got a big sexy Bartolo Colon, but once he gets to second base, once he gets to second base though, he gets a golf cart.
Oh. Oh, man. You know what? I'd like to think that I'd have a good enough lead by then that I could just still pull it off. But, man, you never know. That big man can move. He was a athlete back in his day and still moves pretty well. I don't necessarily want to cut him short, but I'd still take myself in that one.
All right. Tommy Lasorda 50 years ago.
Oh, gosh, man. I'd be scared to beat him because I think if I beat him, he'd take a swing at me. He's so competitive. I might just let him win. That's just the way he is, man. He's like a little bulldog. He just gets so angry if he loses anything.
Have to sandbag a little bit on him there.
Yeah, I might just have to just let him win just by a tick. But I'd like to think I actually could beat him, but I'd be too scared to actually try and beat him.
All right, the final one is the Freeze down in Atlanta. Guy who races the fans.
Oh yeah. No, man, that's a blast. I love it when they do that. I think he'd whoop me. I mean, gosh, there's nothing better than watching a frat guy and his Sperry's go out there and he gets like a 50-yard lead and he thinks he's going to win, and all of a sudden the Freeze runs by him. That's something we look forward to going to Atlanta every time. So I think he'd whoop me.
Okay, so 2 for 2. That's not too bad. Well, 2 out of 4.
Betting 500.
500. Yeah. So, from pinch running to, no hitters, you've been kind of a Swiss Army knife your whole career, coming out of the pen, starting, sometimes for 7, 8 innings, sometimes for 4 innings. How different is the preparation from being a starting pitcher to a reliever?
Yeah, I get asked that all the time, man. They are way different. I think that I kind of knew that if and when I made it to the big leagues, I was probably going to do a little bit of both, and that's where my value was going to be. So I kind of prepared myself for that. Others don't necessarily do that, so I think that that was one thing that kind of made me ready for it. But, man, they're totally different. If I think of back to my senior year of high school, I'm a starting pitcher, and all the way through college and all the way through the minor leagues, I basically had one routine. That was getting ready to be a starting pitcher, to go 100, 110 pitches, 6, 7, 8 innings, whatever it took. That routine got very cemented in my ways, and I knew exactly what I wanted to do to get myself ready for a start. And then all of a sudden I found myself in the bullpen, and man, it was shock and awe trying to figure out, can I lift that morning and pitch that night? Can I, go out and run 10 poles and still have my energy to pitch that night? Kind of stuff that is just trial and error of trying to figure out. And then what's crazy is I finally found a routine that I loved in the bullpen, where I was getting ready to pitch every night and felt good about it. And all of a sudden I'm back to starting.
Switch it up on you.
Got to find my routine from 2 years prior. So, man, I think it depends on your personality a little bit, and your just kind of ability to adapt. But luckily, I think that I've come to terms with that's what gives me value. That's what Andrew Friedman loves. Guys like Kike, et cetera, that can play in multiple positions, that can get guys out in multiple different scenarios, can go 5 innings or can get you an out in the 8th inning against a righty. So that's just, I've accepted it, and I actually enjoy it. And obviously, would probably rather be a starter, but any day in the big leagues is a good day. And any time you're a Dodger, man, getting 90 to 100 wins a year, I mean, I'm not complaining.
Oh, yeah. When you're in the bullpen, do you focus more on just, your off speed, your breaking balls? Do you focus on just pounding that, opposed to, when you're a starter, you're more working on your whole arsenal? Is there, kind of that in there? Or?
Yeah, there's definitely some of that. I think that's a good kind of simple version of a little bit what it is. I think, bullpen, you come out and, man, you got to have your best pitch from pitch 1.
Yeah.
And it has to be ready to go. So when you're getting hot, let's say, man, all of a sudden the starter's, he's cruising, and all of a sudden there's 2 guys on and 2 outs, and you got to get hot, in a hurry. You're not up there, getting your curveball right and then throwing a couple changeups, getting that right, and then maybe mixing a few sliders, getting that ready. It's whoever's hitting, what is his weakness? I'm going to work on that. I'm going to throw a couple fastballs. I'm going to be ready to go in the game. I mean, it is just as quick as that, So it's what is my best pitch that day, or what is the best pitch against this specific hitter, and that thing has to be ready to go. As a starter, it is much more the chess match. I know these guys' holes. I know how I have to set them up. If there's a guy on first base, I need to go to what gets a ground ball. Where's the best punch-out spot? All this stuff that, like I said, you start playing the chess match against the hitter. I got him out this way in the first inning. Now it's the 4th inning with the man on second. Do I go back to that, or do I try and get him out a new way? So they're just different. When a reliever, you're going at them with your strength from pitch 1. A starter, you're kind of picking and choosing, what you want to do based on the scenario, and knowing that you got to, basically survive 6, 7 innings and keep it short for your bullpen.
Yeah.
All right. So going back to the bullpen thing, I think yesterday from when we were recording this, Mariano Rivera was the first ever unanimous choice in the Hall of Fame. He obviously had one pitch, and it was the most dominant pitch ever in baseball. Can you see anyone today who plays currently having a shot at being a unanimous choice in the Hall of Fame?
Well, man, I mean, Mike Trout comes to mind.
Ooh, that's what I like
saw
to hear.
I saw a thing about Mike Trout the other day. It was like through, I don't know if it was through a certain amount of games or through his age, like 27 season or what, whatever it was. It was like him versus like Bonds and some of the other, obviously greatest hitters that ever played. And his stats were at least equal, if not better, in basically every category.
Oh, yeah.
And, and that's, obviously he's just incredible and very special. I actually don't know if I've gotten him out yet in my major league career. So,
oh, I'll have to fact check that for you.
Definitely, yeah, fact check that one. But actually, don't tell me. I don't want to know. So then, he's the one that comes to my mind. I think Kershaw, he has to be in the mix. I mean, he's just done unbelievable things. Been the greatest pitcher of a generation. So those are the two, to give you a pitcher and a hitter that, if I had a vote, I certainly don't know how I wouldn't go to them.
Yeah, definitely.
So Mike Trout, let's see. Oh, yeah, he's faced you 5 at-bats. He's got 5 hits, 2 home runs, and a walk.
No, man. I asked you not to tell me, man. That has me asleep tonight. He's going to haunt my dreams.
Is he the hardest out you've ever faced, or is there another guy where you're kind of like, oh, shit?
Well, Trout's really hard. The other one that comes to my mind is Javi Baez. Once again, don't tell me the stats. I don't want to know. But he's such a free swinger, and I throw so many of my pitches around the plate. And on Javi Baez, you really have to expand. I mean, he'll swing at something at his neck. He'll swing at something in other batter's box.
That
and
Vladdy
I just
Guerrero.
always throw something. Yeah, exactly. So I always throw stuff around the plate. So he always is able to put the barrel on the ball with everything that I throw. I mean, I just cannot expand enough with him. And so 2 very different at-bats, because Javi will swing at everything, and Trout will only swing at very particular things. But at the end of the day, they both just hammer balls to the wall off me. So neither one's ever very fun.
Is there any guy that when you see him come into the plate, you kind of smirk and you're like, oh, I got this guy. I got his number.
Oh, man. Plead the fifth on that one, because it's just the second I say anybody's name, that'll just switch.
Give him a little bit of fuel there to hit against you.
Yeah, I don't want him to listen in on this and be like, that guy, So I'll plead the fifth on that one and just say, no, maybe a couple pitchers. I feel like I got a couple guys maybe in the division that I've gotten at. John Gray, yeah, I can get John Gray out.
There you go. Going a little off topic, a little off course here. My girlfriend's gonna kill me if I don't ask this. We always laugh because I don't remember what year it was, but you hit Giancarlo Stanton, and it looked like he was going to charge you.
Oh, yeah.
Were you scared at all of Giancarlo coming down at you?
That's a big man.
Of course. I mean, if you go watch it on YouTube, I'm pretty sure I put my head down and just start walking to the dugout, trying to get out of there as fast as I can. I mean, he is obviously one of the larger human beings to ever take a baseball, and I think that it actually went behind him. It didn't hit him. I think if it hit him, he might have actually come at me, and Lord knows what I would have done if that would have happened. I might have just started running around in the infield waiting, because Chase Utley was out there in a hurry. So I trust that Chase would have had my back and maybe kept him from smashing my head in. But
for the backup to come in.
Yeah, I certainly wasn't like, I wasn't scared that I was just going to get my just butt absolutely whooped on national television or whatever. But I was just scared that I just, really pissed off the biggest man in baseball, and not a guy you don't want or a guy that you don't want on, not on your side. That's not good for anybody.
Yeah, definitely. Kind of switch it off of baseball a little bit. You debuted about 3 years ago now. What was the first thing you bought for yourself as like a spoil yourself type thing with your big league paycheck?
Oh, man.
Not something for the family or anything, something just for you.
Yeah. Dang, man. Good question. Let me think. As I look around my bedroom trying to find something. I guess I bought an iPad, and as an iPad count, that's not like a super big purchase. Yeah.
I don't have one, so.
Yeah, I need to come up with something.
I'll switch this up for you here then. What was the first car you ever had growing up, and what's the car you drive now?
So I had an '06 Dodge Charger was my first car, and it was great, man.
That's not bad at all.
That's not
I
bad.
drove it. Yeah, awesome car. I drove it all through college. I mean, it was a stock one. It didn't have the Hemi and all the power, but it was still just a great car. And then now, we only have one car between me and my wife, and we drive a Jeep Grand Cherokee, and we love it. It's a great car too.
There you go. That was my first car was a Cherokee.
I wish I could tell you. I wish I could
nice.
tell you I drive a Ferrari or something like that, but that's not me.
Yeah. One thing I wanted to ask you, I worked a lot with the Rancho Cucamonga Quakes last year, and one thing that shocked me was how similar the clubhouse was to like the high school clubhouse. I guess you always have this like idea in your head that it's going to be like a more professional setting. It's not really the guys being guys anymore. It's time to do work. Does the big league clubhouse, is it still the guys being guys when the doors are closed and the cameras are away, or is it the more professional time to go to work setting?
No, man, I think that's exactly what we are. You know, we're just big kids playing a game, you know, for a living. And, you know, I think that stays with us. Obviously, you know, 30 minutes until first pitch, guys start turning it on.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And, you know, getting ready and all that kind of stuff. I mean, that's when it gets serious. But if you're talking, you know, from when we get there through BP, through, you know, eating some lunch before, you know, between BP and the game, all that stuff. I mean, we're just joking around, passing time. You know, some guys watch video, but you can't watch video all day, you know. So, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, man, we're all best buds, and we see each other so much that, you know, we become best friends. And, you know, when you're that close, I mean, obviously you're going to have a lot of fun together and just, you know, enjoy spending that time in our locker room, and then, you know, just going out there and competing together and all that. So I'm with you. I think, you know, remember my time in Rancho, I loved it there. And then through the minor leagues, it obviously becomes more serious because of what's on the line, and just kind of how cutthroat the business is and all that. But at the end of the day, like I said, man, we're just big kids playing a sport for a living and loving it.
What time do you guys have to get there for a 7 p.m. start? Because I remember the Quakes would get there around, I think, 1, 2. They'd get there early.
Everyone's a little different, you know. The Yasiel Puigs of the world may not necessarily show up that early. You know, some most guys, you know, kind of maybe start trickling in around 1 to 2:30.
That's insane.
You know, or so. It just depends on what you're doing that day, or if you got to get some extra work in and all that stuff. You know, it just depends if we got back from a long road trip or anything. It can vary.
Yeah, speaking behind the scenes, I think the biggest thing that shocked me was the clubhouse manager. I don't know if you remember Casey or if he was there when you were there.
Yeah, Casey was not there when I was there, but I've met Casey.
Yeah. He would be there until like 2, 3 in the morning, like doing laundry, cleaning the clubhouse. Like it was insane. It blew me away. What do you think the most underappreciated job in baseball is that like fans don't really think about?
Yeah, I mean the clubby in general, you know, we're calling a clubby the guy that takes care of the locker room, the guy that does the laundry and, you know, just kind of handles some in and out things. I mean, I know that at the end of the day, you know, they're getting to travel around with the big league team and you know, and catch bullpens for some of the greatest pitchers in the world. And that kind of stuff is probably a lot of fun, but you know, they are away from families and that kind of stuff.
So I got a little bit of a cliche one. What are your guys' and, you know, yours and the rest of the team's attitude heading into 2019 after coming so close to the World Series in back-to-back years?
Yeah, great question. You know, I think that at the end of the day, man, we got kind of the core group of guys back, you know, for really maybe 1 or 2 real good runs with the guys that, you know, we started at least my rookie year in 16, which are the Justin Turners and the Kershaws and the Kenley Jansens and the Root Hill. And, you know, this group, this core has a chance to be good for another couple years. But heading into this year specifically, you know, to come that close and lose twice is really tough. And, you know, I think that we got just an unbelievable locker room of talent and guys that are still hungry to go out and keep winning. And, you know, when you just look up and down our roster, we just know that we're too good not to make another run. So I think that, you know,
definitely.
guys are anxious to show up and get after it, and ready to grind through another 162.
I heard him for a split second.
Oh,
Can you hear me?
Now I can. T-Mobile sucks.
Yeah. All right. I'll just stay here. I started kind of walking around my apartment, but I'll stay here.
Okay.
Maybe that'll help.
All right, I got one last thing for you, and then then we're done. So
Yeah, no problem, man.
I have this like MLB PR 101. I think someone in the MLB should hire me for this. I got the best idea. I wanted to get your input on it. So, everyone's talking about Mad Bum doing the home run derby, Jake Arrieta at one point, telling the pitchers to do the home run derby. What if every year, it could be the day before the home run derby, maybe the afternoon before the home run derby, we do a pitcher home run derby, but with aluminum bats.
maybe no show.
Oh, man.
Aluminum bat pitcher home run derby. Do you think that'd be a sell?
I think it'd be great, man. That's what people in the seats want to
Exactly.
see. I mean, there's some. So before the home run derby this year, there's some high school kids out there that had won some competitions and whatnot, and were competing for high school home run derby champion, and they had metal bats, and they were hitting just missiles into the stadium. I mean, into the seats.
Yeah.
And I'd like to think there's some pitchers around that could do that. I mean, heck, I think back to college, some of the bats we used before BB core stuff. If you could bring those back,
Oh, yeah.
and let us just take some G hacks. I bet some people would like to come out and see that. I mean, I've seen Bumgarner hit some balls pretty long ways, so I might even show up and watch.
How many?
That's a good idea.
How many home runs can you hit with an aluminum bat in the home run derby? Just one round.
Oh man, I wouldn't be very impressive. I'm more of a blooper over the second baseman kind of guy. But with an aluminum bat, I could maybe turn and burn and get a couple out of there. But I wouldn't be the highlight of the show. I'm pretty confident about that.
It's so strange, too, because you look at a lot of these pitchers like Kershaw, and I'm sure you, too, in high school, you guys just absolutely demolished. And then it's like you stop working on it, and it's like all of a sudden you face these big leaguers, and it's like, oh, shit.
Yeah, well, not to contradict you, but I only had one varsity at bat in my high school baseball career, so I'm not.
Oh, wow.
I've never been known for my hitting. I was even pinch hit for as a high schooler, so that shows you how good I was.
If it makes you feel better, you still have more varsity at bats than I do.
Yeah, there we go. But man, there are guys that are very good, but man, obviously big league pitching is as good as it gets, and it doesn't matter how good you were at 18. You're going to struggle to put the bat on the ball in the big leagues. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
100 pitches, how many do you think I can make contact with?
Man, I've never seen your swing, but
I'll send you my highlight reel.
yeah, hit me with that, and I'll get back to you. But just a guess, I'd say about I'd give the over/under like 7.5.
Oh, okay. I'm betting the under.
Taking the under on that.
Yeah.
I think you could at least hit some dinkers back to the pitcher or something. I'll give you that.
I faced in Little League when it was the 40-foot. We faced a kid who threw like 75, 80. He actually got drafted by the Padres, Reggie Lawson. And Tyler, my co-host, he hit it off the fence off of him. So that's kind of like a 95 mile an hour
Hey.
fastball.
I basically hit a professional baseball pitcher.
Claim to fame, man. Nice job. Yeah, I always, when the Little League World Series comes on, and they always have that kid that's on like 72, and it's like equal to 100 in the major leagues or whatever.
Yeah,
I always think that's pretty funny, but it is true. I remember being that age and being scared of the kid that could throw 70.
Oh, yeah.
But if you got a hit off him, you go back and tell everybody.
All right, Ross. Well, is there anything you wanted to plug, anything you wanted to bring up before we let you go? Or
No, not at all, man. I'm good.
All righty. Well, thank you for the interview, my man.
Yeah, thank you guys, man. I appreciate y'all having me. That was fun.
Yeah, I hope you had fun. That's our goal.
No, I did for sure. Make sure and send it to me so I can listen to it and spread it around.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. If you want to, tell any of your teammates to hop on, we're more than welcome.
Yeah, for sure.
Not going to have you network for us. All right, Ross, thank you.
Yeah, buddy. Y'all take it easy.
Hey, welcome back to Within the Lines. I hope you guys enjoyed that Ross Stripling interview. We have a little bit of personal talk at the end of this. Not fully shooting the shit, but just a little bit. Things that have gone on the last week. Probably should be like 10, 15 minutes, and then, hopefully end your drive to wherever you're going if you're listening to this. So over the last week, we both went to the movies with our lovely girlfriends. and we both saw 2 different movies. Tyler, what movie did you see? You saw it before me, so I will let you describe your experience first.
Went and saw Glass this weekend. And
Yes.
I went in. I'd never watched Unbreakable. I knew what it was. I looked some stuff up about it, but I've never seen it. I saw Split. Thought that was a really good movie.
I'm too scared to see it.
Seriously?
Yeah, I don't like scary movies.
It was another M. Night Shyamalan movie. He's known for his twist endings and stuff, and
Yeah.
he's had some good movies, some really bad ones, but the reviews weren't that good for it. So I didn't go in with that high of expectations, and I thought it was actually okay for not having high expectations. I thought it played out pretty good.
Yeah, I heard bad things about it from other people, so
It's by far not a good movie.
worse than Split, right? Oh, well, if you say
Yeah,
it's not a good
Split,
movie.
Split was good. I enjoyed Split. This one, so Unbreakable, I believe, is Bruce Willis's movie, and he's the main person.
Yeah.
Split was
McAvoy.
And then this one, the main character really ends up being Samuel L. Jackson. You don't see him for a good chunk at the beginning of the movie, but then through the end of it, it's like, the villain is the main guy.
Well, wasn't Samuel L. Jackson in Unbreakable?
He was, but I believe Unbreakable was more about Bruce Willis.
Oh, okay.
This one, it had like Bruce Willis in the beginning and the Split guy in the beginning, and then the whole end of the movie was carried by Samuel L. Jackson.
How was it obvious that they should have been together, or did they just like throw these 2 movies together? I don't understand. I thought they were based off books, but I don't know if I'm misinformed in that.
Are we doing spoilers here?
No. Yeah, spoiler alert.
Beginning of the movie is Unbreakable dude, Bruce Willis. You see him, and he goes out on nightly runs, basically, where he looks for bad guys. He's got his son at home on a computer, radio, superhero shit.
Just don't spoil the end.
Yeah, there's girls in a building, right, and they're kidnapped, and the Split dude was doing what he did in the Split movie, where he's kidnapping these girls, he's gonna kill them, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Bruce Willis runs into the Split guy on the street looking for these girls, finds out it's him, goes and rescues the girls, and then they fight, and the cops catch both of them.
Oh.
And then they get dragged to an insane asylum type thing.
Yeah.
Mr. Glass is there.
That's a little bit of like an MCU, little M. Night Shyamalan you know what I mean? He's like, oh, I had this one movie, I had this other movie. Let's just put them together.
Well, that's exactly what happened, because Split, it had nothing to do with Unbreakable's characters or anything like that until the post-credit scene where they show Bruce Willis sitting there at like a coffee shop or something, seeing it on the TV. That was the only thing that tied it together until this movie.
I mean, that's like, Will Ferrell doing a movie, and then at the end credit, you see like Ron Burgundy or whatever, like interact or something. And it's like, oh, this is a series now,
Yeah, that's basically what he just chose to do it. It was good. It dragged in the middle a little bit, but looking back on it, there was like this plan going on throughout the thing, because Mr. Glass is supposed to be a genius.
Yeah.
It was good. It dragged a little bit. The ending was pretty good, and then there's you can expect a classic M. Night Shyamalan twist at the end, where it's like, oh shit, okay. I think spoiling it.
The only M. Night Shyamalan movie I've seen, and I could be wrong, I've probably seen some without knowing, but the only one that comes to mind is Signs.
I've seen Signs, and
I don't remember the twist.
It was like water or something, or
the stupidest thing ever.
Yeah, it was stupid.
The thing that's in the
movie,
atmosphere.
That's why that movie was like rated
poorly.
Yeah,
is what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never saw The Sixth Sense. I've never seen. I know there was like one really, really bad one that released like when we were in high school or right before high school.
Yeah, The Sixth Sense. I think
Mark
the
Wahlberg.
Twist,
Is Mark
maybe?
Wahlberg in an M. Night Shyamalan movie? I don't know.
The Sixth Sense. It was like, oh, he was dead the whole movie or whatever. That was the twist.
Thanks for ruining it for me.
It's been out forever. I don't care.
Thanks, Ty.
We already called spoiler alert.
For Glass, not for The Sixth Sense, which I planned on watching after we recorded this podcast.
I apologize.
I went and saw a different movie, a movie that's been out for a while, Aquaman. I thought it was fitting, since we talk about superheroes, I should probably go see the superhero movie that's out right now.
That's my bad.
Yeah, Tyler hasn't seen it yet. First impressions when I left the theater, I was like, oh, it was actually pretty good. I enjoyed it. I think a lot of people go into DC movies with their guard up thinking it's going to be terrible, and I think sometimes that could be a little unfair to the movies themselves. They could still be enjoyable. They might not be critically great, but they can still be enjoyable. I enjoyed it. I liked it. Aquaman looked like a piece of corn on the cob when he had a suit on. It was hilarious. It was good. Jason Momoa did really, really good. I thought he did really, really good in his role. I think his acting was good. I think they picked the perfect guy for Aquaman. But as I've kind of sat on the movie, I've realized the kind of bad things about it. Right off the bat, the writing was so predictable. Like, not even like in the sense of the movie itself, even though the movie itself was kind of predictable. just like the lines they said were so corny, man. So like
Straight out of a comic book.
like I leaned over to Riley like 4 or 5 times and finished their sentence for them. You know what I mean? Like one of them, okay, it was like Atlantis has always had a king, and I looked at Riley, I was like, but now they need a hero or something like that.
I think that was in the trailer, but yeah, that's
I didn't see
very
the trailer.
cliche.
I didn't see the trailer.
Okay.
So, and like it was just a lot of stuff like that.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff like that. And like there was supposed to be this huge twist. I don't want to spoil the movie for you. And Riley called it before it happened. And I'm like, when she called it, I was like, yeah, that's going to happen. They had a huge logic gap. I thought 2 logic gaps. They took a flare underwater. I've since find out they make underwater flares. That's my bad, Aquaman.
That's why we do research.
One of them was they were in like this middle. They were in the middle of the Sahara looking for something, and they were like in this cave in the Sahara that they like fell into quicksand, like it was like hidden. And I'm not trying to give any key plot points away. And then they find the clue to where they need to go next, and then the screen goes black. I think they might have shown a scene with like the bad guys, talking or whatever. And then it just cuts to them at that place in Italy. So they went from the Sahara Desert to Italy with literally no explanation how they got there. How they got there at all. It was like they're in the Sahara, and then they go to Italy, and they jump off the back of the truck, and Aquaman like taps the top of the truck twice to say like thank you, and that's it.
And you're saying they fell like into a cave, basically?
Yeah, and the jokes before they fell into the cave was Aquaman's like, dude, we're in the middle of nowhere. What are you doing? We don't know where we're going. We're never going to get out of this. And then they go all the way to Venice, Italy, in what had to have been a day based on what was going with the rest of the plots.
They're superheroes. Don't question it.
But they're water superheroes. They're not land superheroes. The girl was literally in a plane, and she was like all sick and scared because she was in a plane. Like,
oh my,
dude, it made no sense. And I was just like, how did they get there? Like, how? And then like this whole little journey they did, it kind of like they were trying to find Poseidon. Well, not Poseidon. It was like Atlan was his name, like the original Atlas Atlantis. They were trying to find his Trident. But like the whole, they could have avoided that whole like little subplot. They could have, because where they found the Trident was like somewhere they already referenced earlier in the movie. I don't want to give anything away. And it was like the whole point of the scavenger hunt was like, it seemed pointless. It honestly did. It seemed like they were just trying to fill time and give them, because there was like a B villain, I guess I would say, that they set up for the next movie to be the villain. Mm-hmm. And that little side quest kind of gave Aquaman, you know how like when the superhero loses, they have to fight like the mini boss, and then they fight. Yeah. He was like the mini boss. So, but
that's stage 1.
Like I said, it was really predictable writing, and like you kind of knew what was going to happen before it happened, but it was good. I mean, I enjoyed it. I laughed, I think, once.
Do you think it's going to get a Best Picture nod?
Oh, I don't know, man. I mean, it should, man. I mean, corn on the cob, dude. That was so funny. That was the funniest part of the movie.
Bad.
It didn't even look bad. Have you seen what he looks like in the Aquaman?
I saw a quick trailer, but I didn't see a lot. Is it like his full comic book, like orange suit and everything? But
it's yellow. It looks like the legit Aquaman suit. I'll give him that. Like, it's not a bad suit. He just looks like corn on the cob.
That's all bad.
Here's a picture. He looks. I can't turn my laptop, but yeah, I can. He looks like corn on the cob, does he not?
He does.
Like, he's got the yellow top, and then he has like the arm parts on the green arm parts like stick out like a little corn on the cob holder. Like,
oh my!
It's fucking hilarious too. Like, it reminds me of Into the Spider-Verse, where the pig like smashed that glass in that one scene. If you haven't seen it, oh my god, dude, I was laughing for 10 minutes after that, and no one else in the theater was laughing. So, I mean, it was okay. Bad. I'd see it. I don't know if I'd go to the movies to see it, but I would definitely see it if you like superhero movies. It's not a stay away.
Yeah. Same thing with Glass. I think it was a good movie. It was a nice little action movie, but nothing amazing.
Yeah. And then some more personal stuff. Oh, Parker's whining. I don't know if you guys can hear that. We got some more CSGO updates. You know, we talk about gaming. There's not really much going on in the gaming world besides us playing CSGO, Counter-Strike Go, online shooter. Last week, we got Tyler's little rant about how he got banned for doing too good. What happened was Tyler got unbanned, and they didn't even rank him yet.
Yeah, it was just for no reason.
Just a slap on the wrist.
So I got some beef still.
We've gotten a lot better. We both have had some really good games with like more than 20 kills. That's a lot in Counter-Strike.
Carried a couple games.
I got in a couple arguments with a kid. We ran into this pickle kid today who was eating a pickle on his mic. It was hilarious, and then we kicked him because it got annoying very quick.
Really funny to start with, and he just kept doing it.
Yeah, it was one of those jokes that was funny at first, and then it just like wasn't funny anymore.
Gotta watch out for those 12-year-olds.
But the biggest thing is I cased a knife. And if you don't know what that means in Counter-Strike, they have skins. They're like little cool camel designs for your guns. And the rarest thing to get is a knife. And knives will sell up to like $1,000. Like they're dummy expensive.
Like real money. Like people sell these on a market and people actually spend
Real
money
money
to buy
dollars.
this stuff.
Yeah, not like Farmville coins. Like you can take the money out of your Steam account and transfer into your bank account real money. My knife wasn't $1,000. It was the cheapest knife I think you could possibly get. But it was $74 for a $2.50 case.
Free money playing games.
Yeah,
I'm basically like Ninja.
I'm not
play to play.
I'm not cashing out. I'm just going to buy more skins with it. I'm not going to spend any more money. But you should have heard me when I got that knife, Tyler. What did it sound like when I
Sound like you
that
had a
knife?
heart attack.
Can you give us a little reenaction?
I thought you choked on something because you couldn't talk.
And then all the people who called me poor because I don't talk when we play, I just show them my knife and I flip it in my fingers because they can't. It's
Got flex on the haters a little bit.
yeah. So that's a nice little update I have. But besides that, Tyler, anything new on Counter-Strike for you? Anything new gaming at all?
I know there's a thing with Mortal Kombat where they have a new character that can control the clock.
Yeah, we talked about Mortal Kombat. I mean, that's all that's really going
all
on.
There isn't nothing new really.
I mean, I heard FIFA changed like their shooting technique or
I did see that.
something today, but
Like
I don't
finesse
play
shots
FIFA
made
anymore.
it way harder.
Yeah, so I don't know. There's like
Send
nothing going on in gaming. That's why we're playing Counter-Strike, a game that's like 10 million years old. So
Yeah, that was about all I had.
yeah, I don't think we got anything else for you guys this week. Hopefully you enjoyed the Stripling interview. Stripling, if you're still listening to this, thank you for the interview once again.
Real fun time.
Like we said, we'll definitely accept if any Dodger players want to get on. You don't
Hit
have
up
to
the
tell them.
homies.
We'll travel. LA,
We're close by.
luxury box.
Maybe some Dodger tickets.
Sweet, yeah, Dodger tickets, free Dodger dogs, all right, guys. So we actually have our intro song for you now, don't we, Ty?
Huh?
Our outro song. We have our outro song ready for everyone, right?
Yeah, no, definitely.
That's so stupid. We need an outro song.